welcome. I am glad you guys were able to make it tonight. I'm so excited about our first workshop, um, beginning with Mi Florecita Art Shop. So thank you for coming. I'd like to first be able to have us do introductions and kind of get to know each other a little bit. So if you could introduce yourself and say a little bit about what attracted you to Mi Florecita. Let me start with Joe.
Hi, I'm Joe. I wanted to be a part of this for several reasons, but I'm trying to get back with my art skills and stuff and kind of expand my horizons when it comes to that. And this is a safe place to do it.
I'm Ashley. I haven't been able to do as much artsy activities since I got into high school, college, and life just happened. I wasn't able to do much. This is a fun way to get back into it.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming. And Hannah?
Yes. What's good, everyone? I'm Hannah. I also haven't got to express my creative side in a long time. It feels good. I'm just ready to create with you beautiful people out there.
Oh, fantastic. I love this. Well, I want to first be able to say that, again, we are loosely following The Artist's Way, a spiritual path to higher creativity by Julia Cameron. So I'm going to show the book and be able to tell you what we're doing here. So again, loosely meaning that for those that are really interested in following and going through what she has to offer, that is, you can go ahead and do that, and I'll work with you directly to be able to go over more details and check in. But we're going to be discussing the key concepts throughout the times that we're visiting, so that it starts to make more sense through the blog and through the community, and being able to come up with the different things that we are doing. And so I wanted to be able to show that too, and that the art and the craft activity is going to be coordinating with some of the key concepts as we're going through them. We're going to be doing tonight the art journal. We'll start with the art journal. We'll do the covers for our art journal, and then we'll be able to create as we go throughout the course. I also wanted to be able to say that the activities and what the book is going over, the key concepts, is about really finding a safe space for us to be able to reconnect or connect with our inner artist, or what people sometimes call the inner child, or the artist. And so, but a lot of times we are told from a very young age that we need to color inside the lines, and if we don't, and if we deviate from those things, then we are told that somehow there's something wrong with us, and that we aren't creative, that we aren't really even worthy of being considered. And so a lot of times that happens to us at a very early age, and it could be a variety of different things, and we start to adapt those negative views of what it means to be an artist. Joseph, what do you think are some of the negative phrases that have been attached to becoming an artist?
Negative phrases.
Yes.
I guess the most common one, at least in relation to me in particular, is the starving artist trope.
Exactly.
Where you're not really appreciated for your work in the way that you think you should be. At least that's the one that comes to mind to me.
Exactly. Ashley, what about you? Do you have any negative phrases or comments that people will say about artists?
I guess that it's more about the fact that people don't take art itself I feel like they take it too seriously in a way, that only certain things categorize themselves as art. It's just, I feel like if it makes you happy and you're expressing yourself creatively, it's art. Mm-hmm. And it shouldn't have to follow these strict guidelines of, is this art, based upon some art snob.
Mm-hmm. I agree. How about Hannah? Do you have any negative views or comments or people that have said about artists or becoming an artist or doing art?
No, I agree with what they said. A lot of times people are discouraged to do things that they want, specifically with art, and they don't take it as serious. So I think that's the only one I can think of.
Okay. Well, we just had a new person join in, and that it looks like it's Michael. Are you still there?
Big Mike.
You have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, and those look like you're muted.
Can you hear
There
me
you
now?
go.
There he is.
Yes. How you doing? We just got started. We did introductions, and we're just beginning to go over the artist way.
Okay.
So, would you like to introduce yourself and what drew you to this particular workshop?
I'm the one and only Michael Marquez. I love myself, as you can tell. But anyway, what drew me is my lovely sister. I think she's very inspirational. I admire her in all attributes, and I think this is going to facilitate a lot of gathering, if you will, of collaboration, learning how to deal with art, but yet bring spirituality together. So I'm looking forward to it. She is a inspiration of my heart, and I hold her dearly to me. So thank you, sis. I appreciate for the offer.
Well, thank you for joining us. I look forward to it. Like I said, we were just starting to begin to discuss the artist's way in the book, and that the biggest thing is it doesn't matter if you are already an accomplished artist, if you are in the fine arts, musical arts, a writer, if you are a person who just is a dabbler in art. This workshop is going to be able to help us just to be able to relax and enjoy art. Sometimes we get so caught up in the making of art that sometimes we forget to have fun with it. And like Ashley was saying, and the other time is that sometimes we also start to get like the pressure of producing and doing things sometimes leaves the fun of art, which it really should be, is sometimes gets controlled and constricted, and we start to feel like we're either hitting a wall, or we start to not come up with creative ideas, and then we start to really becomes a problem for many people. And other people really are, would like they're considered shadow artists, that they somehow had been turned off or been told that they aren't artistic, or somehow believe that they couldn't do things, and so they always love the arts and do stuff around the arts and have an art collection, but they never actually do. So so this is for you as well, to be able to reconnect with that part of you that really wants to be able to just have fun and create again. And this is the fun part about this, is that we are going to be, there's no rules here. We're going to go through these activities, and it's going to allow you to express yourself and to just really allow yourself to just have fun and play. So it's letting your child out to play. So I want you to be able to enjoy that. The next part about I wanted to go into is that we're also going to be meeting, and I wanted to talk to you about the meeting and meeting weekly. I want to make sure that covering the concepts and going over the activities is still going to work for you. So at the end of this session, I like to get some feedback as to if that's going to work, or if I should, or how fast I can cover the materials and go through things, so I can get a feedback on timing as we proceed through this course. All right, or this workshop rather. And then we'll call, when we get together, we're going to call them our artist states. That way we have a concept that we're going to be talking about, but that's how the time that we're going to create together, these are our artist states. So this way, when we get together, we can call it our date night. Sound good?
Absolutely.
Right, and I will be blogging about the idea, the concept, and I'll be posting every of the supply lists and suggestions and the project that we'll be going over for each week. That way you can see that as well. And then as things are going along, I should also be posting highlights of our sessions, so that either the people that aren't able to join in now can join in as they can eventually in their schedule permits. Then the next thing is the basic tools that are being discussed in the morning or in the artist's way are the morning pages, which is really a morning meditation. So for those who really want to participate in doing the book, the morning pages are an opportunity for us to be able to write in the morning, first thing in the morning, just free flow of ideas, just whatever it is, like affirmations, write 3 pages of it. And that is supposed to be able to help you kind of reconnect with just everything that's helping you or to making you feel blocked or constricted but it feels like a foreign and awkward, but it helps you to be able to express yourself. And then the next thing is that the next tool are the artist dates, which is the time that we'll have with ourselves. And so as we're going through this, we'll be able to see that this time that we're spending together and the time that we're going to be able to do more projects or tasks, these are opportunities for you to be able to do those as well. And the affirmations are the things that we're going to be doing to try to support our inner child through all these activities. Allow ourselves the permission to explore and to make mistakes and to color outside the lines and not be perfect, but to be able to also say that we can accomplish the things that other people have kind of maybe prevented us from doing. And then the other part of the tools are the sensory walks. They're 20 minutes, and they are an opportunity for you to not just get exercise and get out and get some fresh air, but they're also opportunities for us to be able to do either take pictures, take time to listen to the birds, to the different things that get our attention, and to maybe pick a flower, smell a flower, pick up some leaves, anything that draws your attention, colors that make you happy or smile along your sensory walk. And these sensory walks are just designed to be able to help you to reconnect with the things that you find joyful in nature, and then bring those back to our art and to our actual journals. So if you pick a flower, or you can do a pressed flower, or you can do a leaf, and we can work on doing that as far as our journal entries. So that'll be part of our activities. But those walks are sensory walks, and not just that exercise and do it fast and get through it, but actually listen and engage in the environment that you're going into. And then they also suggest a contract or a commitment to yourself, to be able to say that I'm going to be doing this for myself, to be able to grow and to expand and to feel better about and to connect with my inner child or my inner artist. And so the first part of chapter 1 is that sense of safety. And that's why I want to make sure that we aren't looking at this as this in any way. We're going to support each other. And we're going to make sure this is a safe environment. We're encouraging to be able to express ourselves, and anything goes. So it doesn't have to be a perfect Monet. It doesn't have to be a Picasso or any of those types of things as far as our artwork is concerned. It's about being able to express ourselves and how it makes us feel, and to allow us to be able to enjoy that. So the next thing for here is I just want to make sure that we also consider and think about those negative beliefs. And remember that they're just beliefs. So when we start to talk to ourselves about those things, they're really fears about, or it keeps us scared, and it keeps us afraid of taking chances and to expand and do different things. So we need to focus on those positive affirmations and to be able to work on combating those negative beliefs. So the first thing we're going to do is the art journal project. And has anyone done an art journal?
Can't say I have.
All right, well, this is the fun part. Art journals can be anything, because anything does go. Here's an example that I had a friend actually make for me, because I like to sketch, and she actually did this through fabric. And so she actually, you can see that she did felting, and she did a stamping, and she did layers on this, so you can see the variety. And then she actually created this part first, and then you can see she glued it to the top. So you can do any of these types of things. It could be any material, as well as paper and ink and paint. So art journals can be anything. So just want to make sure that I'm letting you give an example of what that might look like to you. And that actually said bloom, so allow you to bloom. You can use any types of materials on our journal. I suggested, and it was primarily because of the ease of being able to actually work on future pages, but to do a 3-ring binder to have at least 50 pages, and to be able to have mixed media pages so you can paint and it can get wet without it having a hard time with some of the materials, so you can really enjoy yourself. But it doesn't whatever works for you and your lifestyle, that's what we need to do. So this is mine. That's what I picked. And today we're going to be doing our art journal covers. And the first thing we're going to do on these covers is we're going to decide the first level. It's the first step, and it's to create a background. So whatever you brought today and whatever you have available to you, you can use. Just remember that what we're going to do is create this background so we can paint on whatever is there. We can glue whatever's there, decoupage, but we need to create the background color. That is our first step. So whatever mood you're feeling right now, go ahead and work on some background color. It could be also a collage of torn paper. So go ahead and get started on finding what you want for your background color. But that's the first stage of the journal.
Excuse me.
You got a hand raised.
Yes. Oh, someone must have. Hold
My
on.
background. Like, am I coloring this?
Yes. That's our
Like
we're gonna do we're doing the cover.
Not this.
You can do that just like I was showing you. If you wanted to paint or work on that and then glue to it, you can do that, or you can work directly onto your journal.
Thank you. So are we starting?
Yes.
That's what I was thinking. Thinking that we get this, we cut it into the right shape.
I have a person
both
wanting
do
to
like this.
You're
join.
supposed to have scissors here somewhere.
Oh,
Oh,
there
there
you
it is.
go.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
I have a new person who wanted to join. Welcome. I just
I don't
wanted
see
to
the
say
menu.
welcome you. We're just started on
there.
our Dan, we just started on our journal, our art journal. We are beginning with the cover, and we are going over, or just being able to say that the first stage in creating an art journal is doing the background color. So right now we're just picking out what that's going to be. What I want to make sure I stress on that is that the background color could be painted, it could be fabric, it can be old book pages, music sheets, torn paper, so an easy collage. And I actually did that. I was going to point out that I picked up some old wrapping paper, and I was going to start with that. So that's going to be my initial. I'm just going to start tearing and coming up with a way to be able to put this on there for my initial background color.
Excuse me?
Yes.
If I wanted to Mod Podge, how does one accomplish that? Do I put a layer of it first and then put something on and then put it on?
You would like, ideally, you want to have the Mod Podge. It would be the same thing with what I'm about to do right now, because I have it as well. And what typically what I do is I put the layer of the Mod Podge onto the base surface, and then I put the whatever I'm applying to that surface on, and then I put a layer on top of that as well. Does that make sense?
Thank you. Does it matter what brush I use?
No, but one thing that I have found with Mod Podge is it really destroys your brushes. So you want to make sure you're using kind of a throwaway brush, or use one of these sponge brushes. Yes.
I'll use a paintbrush for the glue, I guess.
Yeah, I would use the brush, put the glue there.
Now, one of the things one of the more fun things about these kinds of activities is that it really allows you to just sort of what you're feeling and how you what their day was like. So sometimes they can be really cathartic. It can allow you to, like, if you're really having a bad day and you're angry, and the one thing that you can do is pencil and just do some doodles, and sometimes just going over and over and over again and scribbling it allows you to really work out some of those feelings. Sometimes you can just you can actually use your journal pages to be a specific color. So if you wanted to explore what the color blue made you feel like, you can do your whole page in blue. And then you could do like different color blocks, and you can do, maybe today I'm going to
Uh,
yellow, and then the next day I might explore red.
seems a little sketch.
Makes me feel,
I just need with a paper.
No.
especially
I know.
like after a walk or after one of your artist dates. So as we're going through this, I'm going to kind of go over a little bit more of the chapter so you can kind of understand a little bit more about why I chose this. I chose the the Artist's Way, and it was a book that has been like, it's about 25 years old. It was one of the early books that I had read and worked with, and it really allowed me to express myself and to connect, because I would always think of myself as the artist being more of a uh, a hobby and something I always wanted to do. I love being creative. I love finding new ways, but then I'd always but it helped me to kind of express myself and identify that and in different and know that it was more than just, it was more of like the negative thoughts and the fear of what that would bring to my, my life. So I found her particularly, and the artist pages really helpful through like a morning meditation. But the artist dates, they're designed to do one date a week you're supposed to do. And that date is supposed to be essentially by yourself. You're supposed to go and you will find interesting, that you're attracted to, but you're supposed to do it by yourself. And the reason why it's kind of tough to do, you're not supposed to let other people do it with you. You're supposed to spend and actually schedule a date that's going to take a couple hours. You're going to go to, let's say you want to get supplies for your artist journal, and you're just really going to go check out. And I love going into Hobby Lobby. So sometimes that could be an artist date right there. It's just to see what's new and the different materials and projects out there, and all the different things that are being produced. It can stimulate you in different ways. It can help you to relax and just to be able to kind of get a feel for, what's new, but also kind of just allow you to enjoy the ability to say, I'm just taking some time for myself and spending some time enjoying these different art pieces, and then I can get some supplies while I'm in there and enjoy that as well. Or it could be an artist date like going to the movies by yourself. And the reason why you're supposed to do it by yourself in these artist dates is because sometimes we also have fear of ourselves. We have fear of who we really are, and what does that really mean. And sometimes we let those fears kind of stop us from really spending time getting to know ourselves and allowing ourselves to grow. And so the artist date is supposed to be able to help us expand that way, give us time to kind of see what we might like, or things that maybe we didn't really try because we were afraid to do it by ourselves. And so maybe we would try a new class, or maybe we want to do some cooking, or take a cooking class. Maybe we want to take learn how to sew. So there's a variety of different things that we may have stopped ourselves from doing, but it allows us to be able to kind of explore that part of us and to spend some time with ourselves, kind of seeing what we can do without somebody else like imposing a negative thought, or kind of making you afraid of what that might bring. Because sometimes the idea with those negative thoughts is that it also stops you from trying new things. And some of those negative thoughts about being creative can also stop you from just exploring your world and exploring the things that you really know you're interested in doing. And so that would be one of the major pieces that the artist date can accomplish for you. And I know it's not easy, and a lot of times I would fight against doing the artist dates myself. I'd want to, but I'd find some reason not to. I'd be busy. The kids would be needing something. I couldn't spend time by myself. I try to do it with other people, trying to figure out how to make it happen. But the point is to have that time by yourself to explore and to see and to know what, the things that what's happening with yourself. And that is not always easy to do. So that's the point of the artist date, and using the tool of the artist date throughout our time that we're doing this together. Now, every week we're going to be kind of checking in with each other about the types of stuff that we've been doing. Now, again, you don't have to follow it. I'm not trying to make this a terribly structured book club type thing, but I'm using the key concepts throughout our time together to be able to allow us to continue to grow, but also to see if that may also help us to maybe unblock or to reconnect with our inner self. And sometimes it just takes a little bit of maybe feeling uncomfortable to be able to do that. So if you were to go on an artist date, what kind of thing would you feel most attracted to doing on your first artist date? What do you think, Hannah?
I didn't know this was pop quiz time.
Just conversation.
I'm just kidding. If I went on an artist date, well, I guess recently I haven't been doing things by myself. So one of them would probably be jujitsu. I really like it, but I don't like going alone. Just because, no one likes really doing things alone. You get scared. You don't have a support system with you, and you have to make new friends and trying new things. And recently I've been having a hard time with that. So, I think my next goal would be to try and do that alone. Yeah.
Okay. How about Joseph? What kind of would you find like attractive or interesting or something you'd like to explore?
Not entirely sure. This is all kind of new to me.
One thing that might frighten you.
Something that might frighten me.
That to do by yourself. What would be the first?
Wrestling a bear would be kind of scary.
Yeah, that might be an issue. But like your everyday life, what would you be afraid to go to the movies by yourself?
No, I can eat dinner by myself, really.
Okay. How about you, Ashley? Is there something that would frighten you to do by yourself? Well, the other question would be maybe not necessarily fear, but maybe what things haven't you done since what used to bring you lots of joy when you were a kid, but you haven't done in a long time? What are some of those things?
Animation. I haven't done any anime since I was a kid.
Maybe that would be a perfect opportunity for an artist date. Do something that used to bring you lots of joy that you don't get a chance to do anymore, or it's been a while. What about you, Ashley? Is there something you haven't done in a long time, or something that used to do that always made you smile?
She said doodling.
Yeah, doodling. I missed kind of like, I used to draw a lot. I used to draw tons. There's like, I used to give it to my friends and stuff. I used to keep all my drawings. It was all over the walls. I used to draw so much.
And then what made you, when did you realize you stopped?
It just, like, I used to doodle a lot more even in my notes. But then college came around, and like as I got later into my years of college, I guess lost momentum. So I still doodle sometimes, but not to like the extent of where I was like drawing.
Well, I'm going to show you guys my basic background that I came up with for my color. I did a little simple collage with the leftover wrapping paper.
Simple.
I just did.
It's beautiful.
Well, the colors are beautiful, but it was just a simple collage. So that just giving you an idea of like the color background. That is the first step to the whole thing, is to lay down color. And you can do a whole bunch of ways, of course, that you can use different paper from like scrapbooking papers. You can use paint. You can use tissue paper. And sometimes tissue paper is a good way to lay down color. There's a whole bunch of different techniques you can use. But the next, I'm just going to, you continue to work. I'm not making you move any faster. I'm just letting you know that then if someone who's ready for the next piece, the next step is to do your next layer. And this is how we begin with all of these art journals is layering. So we first lay down our colors in the background, and then we start to add layers. So next step is layer 1, and you can add a multiple element over your background. You can do vintage paper, you can do newspaper, an old postcard, We just come back from a vacation, so maybe something that a keepsake from your vacation, something that reminds you of just something positive and happy. So you can use that. But whatever it is, you want to add the next layer on top of the colored layer. So it can be whatever you want it to be, and just continue to add the layers. One thing I was going to also point out is some these around a lot, and I have these different types of things. This one is Wit and Wisdom from the Yoga Mat. It's a really fun thing, and I got it for like just motivation. They're just little phrases. Another thing that you can use are things like this, where you have like a card or a phrase that you want to remember or put into your journal. So you could have the like self-discovery begins at the edges of your comfort zone. And that's the idea here, that the comfort zone keeps us where we're at, but we don't ever go forward. And the idea is that in order for us to really find and allow ourselves to express ourselves is to really push and go outside the lines and realize that it's safe there. It's not a bad place to be. So that's a way for us to use a phrase that might be able to stimulate you and trigger you to feel happy. I like this one I found today. I was looking for stuff, and this one says, "This is the beginning of anything you want." It's the beginning of anything you want. So that is what I'm going to be putting onto mine today. And that one piece that a lot of times people will be afraid to paint over or tear or that type of thing, and actually it's freeing in one way because it allows you to kind of just see what happens. Sometimes you think it's going to go one way, but it really is going to go another, and all of a sudden it's like it's even better than you thought it was going to be. But sometimes it's scary. There was one time I had an art class when I was in college, and it was a fibers class, and we spent all this time. We had to do we had to dye the fabric. We had to go through this whole process of coming up with the dyes. We had to do the waxing on it. It was a long process to come up and actually create this fabric, this beautiful fabric after it was all done. And it really was beautiful. And I was so excited about it. And then my professor said, "Okay, now you have to cut it up." And I was like, "You've got to be kidding me. I have to cut up I just spent like 3 weeks on this fabric and you're making me cut this fabric." I was so upset and I didn't want to do it. And it was so hard for me to let go of that and allow it to happen and to come up with something else and to create something different from what I already had created. And sometimes it's a very hard process to let go and just to kind of see what you can create based off of just allowing it to happen. And that's not always easy to do as a creative person. Sometimes we get really rigid in our thoughts or what we think is okay or acceptable, and that prevents us from being able to kind of see and just experiment. And sometimes experiment is what really allows us to see and to come up with some of the best things that we produce. So I just wanted to make sure I express that to you guys, that it's okay to tear things, to see what happens. This is, again, it's anything goes on these art journals. The next thing I want to say about the artist way is in chapter 1. It goes into not only the morning pages, which is a nice tool to use as a basic tool, but it also goes into when you are doing these morning pages, you need to try to also follow it up with affirmations. The affirmations is the positive part to be able to turn things around, because we usually end up having all these negative thoughts, and that usually is a part of who we are. Some people refer to that as a inner critic. Some people refer to that as recent example was a parasite. and that it kind of is those negative voices that you hear that is telling you that you're not good enough, that you'll never be a very creative person, that this is never going to work, and that is the parasite that's trying to take control and be able to dominate your thoughts and your actions. And in order for us to combat that, we have to be able to work on these different types of activities to allow us to recognize that it's telling a lie, and but that also sometimes those lies were founded in truth and protection. Some of those things were designed to protect a person innocently when you're growing up, to be able to help you not be hurt, or to not be to prevent you from getting into something you once that was maybe more dangerous, or whatever that might be. So it may have originally started off a certain way, but then it has turned into something else that's a lot more negative and preventing you from being able to really explore and to express yourself to your fullest, to what you really are capable of. And so what the morning pages helps you is to identify what they call our blurts, or those voices that you hear, not actual voices, but voices that come into your mind that prevent you or causes you to question your next step, or to be really critical about yourself or others, or what you're thinking of doing, or doing something by yourself. And so and being alone. So the idea here is that you identify in your morning pages some of those negative thoughts that come up. What is the voice of the parasite or inner critic, or whatever is the one vision that you feel comfortable using. And that is what we're going to be kind of working on, is trying to create that sense of safety after the morning pages. So those affirmations can be anything, but we have to work on kind of combating that enemy from within, those voices that tell you that something's wrong and you can't, that something's wrong with you. And so, or that the idea of you being an artist or creating is crazy, stupid, waste of time, all of the things that people say, like not being a poor and degenerate. There's some really interesting things out there. You'll go crazy. You can be all kinds of interesting thoughts about what it means to be an artist, or the types of things that an artist is supposed to look like or do, or that type of stuff. And so what we need to also think about is changing the script that we hear. So instead of that, if to be an artist means you're going to be poor, it doesn't have to be either or. In our thoughts, it could be, and I can be a talented artist and I can be successful. I can be this, whatever that is. I can be a film director and I can be successful. It doesn't mean that you're going to always crash and burn or have a terrible life, or things are going to be all this things that we're told, and from that inner critic or that enemy from within. And that goes for anything. That doesn't have to be just like your creative path as an artist. It could be just a creative path in general, because a lot of times we need to be more creative in our lives and our work, to allow us to think outside the box, to allow us to see solutions to problems that we can't solve at work, and that it needs us to be able to look out and think about something differently, to see from a different perspective. And sometimes we don't allow ourselves to do that, and that creative part really would make a difference with everybody if you felt more comfortable with it, and you didn't let that inner critic prevent you from talking or speaking or trying new things. So that was one of the things with the morning pages that helps us. And those affirmations that are going to be in here, it goes into positive affirmations, and it goes into creating those positive affirmations. And so I would suggest that if you have the book, if you're looking at it on page 36 and 37, it goes into some of those creative affirmations, like I am a channel for God's creativity and my work comes to good. I'm allowed to nurture my artist. It's okay. You can spend time with your artist and doing those things that makes you happy, and spend more time doing it. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm willing to use my creative talents. Sometimes we hold back from using our talents because we're afraid someone's going to judge us a different way, but this is allowing us to say it's okay to do that. And you can do that and still have friends and be successful and be accepted by everyone. It doesn't have to be an either or. So I just wanted to make sure that in those things, that's what we're trying to accomplish and with both not only the tasks that she's having us do in the book, but also what we're going to be trying to tell ourselves as we're going through these projects. Because sometimes people will start to feel like, oh gosh, yours is so much better, and we make these judgments like somehow you're supposed to be this, start off with as a Picasso, and that's my first layer of my first element of my first or the second step. And that was the one I really liked today when I found that. I thought that was fun. How's everybody coming along with theirs? Are they ready for more or another?
We're still taking our time with the background.
Oh no, that's fine. That's why I just want to make sure we have the opportunity to see if there was. You can also use buttons and other types of charms. You can create something. People will sometimes create like ways to expand it, like put an envelope in there, and you can put a note inside the envelope and kind of create layers within layers. That's always kind of interesting too. So there's a variety of different ways in which you can express or want to put on your pages. Is there something that you guys like that you would be interested in?
It's just gonna stick my hands to the paper.
That you thought might be a good way to try to see what would happen?
What was the question?
Is there something that you guys would like to try or thought about or would be interested in trying, like the magazines or a vintage notebook or music? Are you guys interested in anything like that?
Like as future artist dates?
For the pages, yes. For the general pages.
For the artist date?
For the art journal. For what I was just asking if there's something that you're like thought, oh, that would be really fun.
I think that we should go outside somewhere and like try and draw something outside. Like go like somewhere and like go for a walk and find a bench or something and then like kind of draw what you see.
Oh,
Or I don't know, something outside.
I like that idea.
I cut out this picture of Spider-Man.
Oh, I like that. Wait,
It's in my magazine.
I like that. Is that from the multiverse?
No, but might as well be, really.
I found the page of these little rainbows. I think that's kind of fun. I'm gonna see if I can put some rainbows on my thing. All right. So the other piece that I was going to bring up with the, she also has us do tasks. They're supposed to be weekly tasks with these activities, and a couple of them are like these ideas of time travel. She breaks down things according to like age group. So like early, like when you're to 5 years old, and then 5 to 10, and then that type of thing, kind of what happened in that time frame that may have stuck with you or maybe have caused some types of issues, or cause a negative belief, or you to have that self-negative belief. So the idea here, she has different tasks for you to kind of think about and write a list of like 3 old enemies of your creative self-worth. All right, so you're supposed to use this as historic monsters, right? These are monsters in your past that may have really been the core for some of your negative beliefs. They could have been like Sister Maria, and she was really mean to you and said that you'll never amount to anything artistic. You're terrible, and you believe that, right? So you have to write a letter to or write somehow what happened in that caused that core negative belief at a young age. It could be something that you got from, it could be, and then those would be things that be even your parents or grandparents or a friend, the kinds of things that they would have, said, oh, no, there's no way you're going to make any money doing that. You got to do this. You got to become a doctor, right? And so, they may have prevented you from being able to accomplish that. So, so the next thing is with those tasks, the idea is that the primary thing you're supposed to focus on are the morning pages and the artist dates, and then maybe picking out one or two of those tasks. And then that's what we're going to try to have you do within the week as when we don't meet, so that in your journal, we will, each of these pages that we'll be able to create on your own. So you can start to create just the color background, and you can just paint some color background. You can start with color, like I'm just going to do like a rainbow. I'm going to do blue today. So I'm going to have a blue color background, and maybe I'm going to do a mixed color background, or whatever that might be, whatever mood you're feeling that day. And maybe that'll coincide with the task that you're working on, with the negative beliefs. And then create one that's more for a positive affirmation, one that you're working on, maybe something you want to manifest in your life. I want to be able to get a new job. I want to start my career. I want to be able to create abundance. Those are the kinds of things. So this journal can be any of those things, but those art pages are part of what you're supposed to work towards manifesting. So that could be a travel, I want to travel here. I want to go accomplish this, or I want to do, I want to create great art content, and I want to have it be on Maui, and I want to be able to you create your journal to manifest those types of things, but in a positive affirmation, and write that in your journal as well, so that those tasks help you to work through some of the negative things, but always follow it up with the positive affirmation, so that you can be working on that as well to expand and to reach toward something more accomplishable in your goals. And then, but you don't have to do all of those tasks. They're just designed to be able to help you being and connecting with that piece of you. So that was one of the things I wanted to make sure that I was addressing with the book. And what we'll do when we meet is we kind of do a little check-in to see how did it go. What did you like about it? What worked? What didn't work? What was the things that it brought out? That type of thing. So next week, my plan is to continue to be working on these types of feeling, like the feelings about what the negative self, the masks that we put up, what we present to the world. And so the actual assignment we're going to be working on is going to be creating masks. So we can do that both either painting the masks, cutting out pictures of a mask, creating different kinds of masks. One that like a self-portrait. We'll start with a self-portrait. We'll go through like what you believe is yourself and what you feel. It doesn't have to be a realistic portrait. It could be pieces of how you feel, how you present, or what you think others see. And then the other pieces can be like what kinds of masks do you show the world? Like, this is maybe who I am, but this is what I show the rest of the world. And then also maybe the mask that with your inner critic on the net, maybe the mask of your inner critic. What does that critic look like? What does that parasite look like? Whatever that is, so that we can work through some of those things. You have an image of the voice that is preventing you from accomplishing your goals. So those are the kinds of things that we'll be working on as we continue. Does anybody have any questions?
I do, Teresa.
Yeah.
So for this chapter, or can I call it a chapter for this segment? We're looking at something that makes us kind of like fearful, possibly makes us a self-awareness of what frightens us, and then identifying that. And then once we identify it, we bring up some type of affirmation to give us a reassurance that we can get past this.
Exactly.
We can, okay. Are we going to do this?
It's a pass within yourself, because sometimes the fear is what we feel is who we are. Like that we somehow have identified that is who we really are. Either we're like that negative belief is really true, and that we're afraid of that, and that by spending time with that we kind of confirm that negative belief. So I think part of it is that tension, that we're afraid to have that be true, or to recognize what that might be, or to how are we going to, who we really are, is like that really facing that part of yourself. So yes, it's a piece that kind of can be, well, it's just, it's designed to kind of protect you in one way, to feel safe, but then by not doing it, by not pursuing it, it's actually creating that tension that you're feeling like that somehow that there is something wrong with you. And so that's the idea behind it.
Well, what I discovered is with like my past, I done some pretty far out things concerning, like say, with the military, and I enjoyed doing those things like a SEER training. But now, if I had to do those same things, I think it'd be fearful. I mean, I went in holes that were basically my size. We go maybe 6 feet down, and it's a tunnel of pure darkness, and it's wet, it's muddy, it's pretty nasty, and you're literally crawling in pitch black darkness, and you're going from one level to the next level to try to get through this maze to get to this other side. I enjoyed it at the time, but man, if I had to do something like that or any type of heights, I have acquired, unfortunately, a fear of certain things, and I don't like to be so high, especially if I don't have anything securing me in that aspect. But yeah, I can totally understand that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And sometimes, of course, again, some of the fears have suited us or have provided protection. Some of them, and it may be that you're ready for that and you really want to face that. But usually those types of things like that, it's usually something else. Like the idea of like doing that same thing again, scary, but like maybe it's more of like the unknown. What does that unknown mean? Can I handle it? Am I ready to handle that unknown? Can I do that? Can I do that again? Those fears are like something else that's really the core. It's the fear of what might be next, or like can I, or your ability to like go through that again. Like you're feeling that sense of like, oh no. So sometimes that trepidation and that fear is really, it's trying to help you to, like it's trying to, it's disguised as protection, but it may be also preventing you from really going through. Because once you went through it, you said, I did it. I'm good. I can handle this. It's not, I can do anything. But then, but it's going, you can. But like that fear is that just that unknown of what's next, and that trepidation of expecting that and feeling that's kind of going maybe a little bit more well, again, out of your comfort zone. Does that make sense?
It does. For future, so we're gonna go next week. If I wanted to go back, let's say this week or the following week, once we get past, like say week 8 or something like that, and I want to look back, is this going to be recorded so we can just do it as a reference? So we can, maybe there's something that you may have said that was enlightening at the time, and I may have missed something or anything like that. Is this a recording of what you're doing right now?
We are recording it, and we need to make sure before I post anything that everybody that is part of this is comfortable with me posting it to the public.
Nice.
And then if it's going to be just how we're going to do that, my idea that I'd like to be able to do is do more highlights and of the session, so because it's not versus a whole hour and a half. That maybe we do like, these are the things that we did. This is the project, maybe some bits and pieces, so that at least you can refer to it a little bit and keep up if you're not able to be here every week. So you can at least kind of keep, oh, that was fun, I can do that on my own, and then type of thing. So yes, but it's more a matter of kind of deciding if I'm going to do the full thing in its entirety, or just or the highlights from the evening. But I would need everyone's approval before I did any of that. So make sure everybody felt comfortable before I posted anything.
Thank you. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Because I definitely don't want anybody to feel like there is, I have to feel like there's a chance that something could be, like they could share something they don't want other people to know, or that type of thing. I want this to be a safe place.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So And so how do you feel about the art journal so far? Like the idea of expressing yourself and the things that you're dealing with through creating something like the page.
It's going to get me out of my comfort zone, that's for sure. I think it's going to be nice to express. I'm going to give it a try for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, that's what's really nice about some of it. Like even with their tasks about coming up with these different ideas of time travel and stuff. Well, if you don't want to necessarily write it all down, okay? So sometimes that's a little bit hard. Like, how am I going to write that? I'm not sure I really feel that. But you can express your feelings through color. So like I was saying, like maybe that feeling it makes me scared. And so a scared color to me might be red. I'm just using that. So I might start my page and color the background color to be red. And then I might go over it again with some other, and then just keep layering it with the way you feel with what you're picking up, the things that causes you to feel that way. An image, a draw, or just scribbling or writing a phrase, and the things that when you can even write, what do I fear? What do I fear? What do I fear? And that type of stuff will bring out the emotion, the feeling. And that sometimes is all you really need, is to bring that into your conscious, because those things are happening. But that's what art really does. Effective art really just helps you makes you feel. Doesn't have to be anything. You can see some of those artists out there and you're like, what the heck is that? But it made them feel something because of the way the colors were, because it made you happy, it made you sad, it was really deep, it was intense. Those are the kinds of things you feel from when you go to an art display or to look at somebody's work. So that's really what we're doing here, is we're allowing ourselves to feel in general, and just express that through these different activities. I hope that works for you. So how is everybody doing? Anybody else any other questions or any other concerns?
We're just hard at work on the cover, really.
Well, before I forget, I'm going to go ahead and just bring up the next stage. The next step is still adding more layers. And so once you have that first layer and the different elements over the background color, then you're going to be adding the next layer. And this layer is done with paint, pen, or marker. So you obviously, depending on how much glue and stuff like that you have on your background or how wet it is, you may want to wait for that to dry before you start adding, or you might decide to see what happens when you add paint to the wet surface. They have things called dry technique and wet technique, and that may be one thing that you might want to do with your pieces. Apply it dry or apply it wet, or try to see what happens if you do it that way. And so, just to kind of see what kind of marker and how it interacts with what you currently have. And that can be a fun activity. Some people are really good at calligraphy and writing. And so they can really go in and write a whole bunch of stuff that can be pretty fantastic. But I'm not a big calligraphy person. I wish I could be, but that does not work for me as well. So I find that to be more of a challenge. But but whatever you do on that next layer, it can then add to the piece of what you're thinking. So it could be the phrase I was talking about, like maybe pick out and write the phrase that I like, that one I picked up. This is the beginning of anything I want. Well, maybe you have a quote that you really like that means something to you, or maybe you have a prayer that you want to put down, or a prayer for what this experience is going to do for you, or what you're hoping that it's going to accomplish in your life. Or maybe it's just a way of being able to like something to trigger you to remember, to relax, and to enjoy. And so like I was talking about this book here again, the little one, it says, you are stronger than you know. Maybe that's what you want to remember when you look at your journal. To do or not, there's no try, right? So just do it and get something. Then there's other parts about like open to grace, or delight in discovering your edges, figuring out like what that is. So those are I'm just bringing up different pieces here that may help us to find that piece that like you really love. Love is our capacity to expand rather than contract when faced with adversity. So maybe that's what we want to focus on. So the idea here is, what do we want to focus on while we're doing this activity, or while we're working on with each other? And that may be the piece that that helps you to, you know, go a little further, get a little deeper in what you want to accomplish here. Through our relationships, through our growth, this is how we will continue to go. I just discovered this little piece. I thought that was pretty. I'm going to add that one to as my next layer.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, I know this is like our own journey and all,
Mhm.
but you seem to be a pretty talented artist. So, will there ever be times where like you teach us how to do certain like techniques, or like you do more specific like lessons, if you will, like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Oh,
we like maybe
I
ways to do.
I do intend to offer more classes and workshops for that, especially if you're more interested. This first time around, since I'm just getting started with this my online business and creating a community, I wanted to have an opportunity for us all to kind of get to know each other and to feel comfortable. But I do plan and intend to offer actual like classes for, you know, actual drawing or painting. It's more a matter of like a feedback from these opportunities from people that I'm working with to see what they might be interested in. So if they're more, and I can add that to our journey as well, if you would like to go over like color theory, maybe certain different like you talked about, maybe going and drawing out and doing some plain work. I mean, I can talk about like how to maybe that we could add that as an exercise for the week to try, and that we could work on that as well. So I can give you some techniques to do for your own journal. So I can certainly do that as well if you're interested in doing that while we're working together. Or I'm definitely intending to plan to offer other classes as in the future.
Thank you.
Mhm. Does anyone else have any questions or? Because we are getting actually, we're about 7:12, so we're about maybe 15 minutes out from the end of the time that we have together. I wanted to make sure where people were and think how you're feeling. I would also like to ask that when you're done with your covers, to either post it in or send me a picture or send it on social media and tag me Florecita, the website. But I want to be able to like share the things that we accomplished together and be able to have that to show what we're doing as we're doing these activities. And just to remember, is your expression is just fun. So it's a fun activity. So don't feel bashful or afraid to do so. Just have fun with it and enjoy. It's fun to be able to see what you can create, isn't it? Oh, and I forgot to include that when you are adding layers and layers on here, sometimes as things go with these journals, and especially as you add like thicker layers in the pieces that we have, you can also start to get like a big rubber band to keep all your work together so it doesn't fall out. Or you can also start to use a stronger glue so that the glue will help you to see that this is you know, like to keep those larger pieces together, especially if you want to add like buttons and metal pieces or charms and that type of thing. So I just want to make sure you know that. I also wanted to ask, as I'm continuing to think of different activities to coincide with the reading, I wanted to make sure that how do you guys feel about the product, the supply list? I'm trying to keep it simple and not too expensive. But I also give you options for that. Like if you want to do something, like you can always do more or get more materials or do different things. But I'd like to make sure I'm getting your feedback on things that you feel comfortable spending on and doing those for the next activity. So just let me know what might be.
Was good. I would keep it light. Because I personally, you know, I don't have a lot of art supplies. So if you kind of just keep, you know, that in mind, like a simple, the basics of what you need for the thing, just like, I think that'd be good.
Maybe
We go-
within a budget, like maybe like $20 or less a suggestion, or mostly
I would
collective
say it's
things?
more like this is what kind of in the realm of what we would like to use, and but leave it up to each person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is like the kind of project we're going to work on. This is kind of what we're going to do with it. Recommended versus what you have.
Okay. Okay. I appreciate that. Oh, and then also want to say that on the last and final step of the journal, because I know people are still working, so I'm not trying to pressure you to do anything and finish before you're ready. But the last and final step is adding your finishing touches. So these can be doodles, like Ashley was saying, she likes the doodles. This would be the time that she can really have fun, just really doodling. You can do paint splatter. Is everyone familiar with the paint splatter techniques? Okay. Anyone familiar with paint splatter techniques? Well, what you do there is like a lot of times I'll show you, like some people will use old toothbrushes. Is a really good one to use, old toothbrushes. But if you don't have an old toothbrush to use, you can use an older paintbrush that still has a little bit of a harder edge, kind of rickety edge. And you're going to use that, and you're going to have it be really kind of wet, so that it has, and then when you're going to pick up whatever color that you want for the paint. So if you wanted to splatter a purple or, white, you can definitely do so, but you want to make sure that your brush is full of water and that you really collect the paint, the color on that as well. And then what you do is you basically use your thumb, or you can tap it, but usually in order to really splatter, you want it to kind of tap it like that. So you can almost see how even the sand come off that way. You can see it splatter onto your artwork. So it gives you that kind of splattered look. It's a really cool finishing touch. It gives it a little variety and gives it a nice like little splash there that you did that. So just so you know that is the way to do paint splatter. That's a fun thing to do. You can always do stamping as well. There's different types of stamps and stamping pads and different inks. So you can certainly have fun with that. And then the other part is that you also have the other things any other thing that makes you feel comfortable and feel like this is what I want. And it's a finishing touch that really kind of like, yes, that is it. I'm ready to go. So whatever makes you feel happy, that's what you put on there. And that's your finishing touch. So I just want to make sure I was expressing like the final thing. So when we go on, if we finish it off, that's what you do. And that way you can finish at least your covers. And then that will be the same type of technique that you'll do for your other art pages. So as we're going through the art pages, use that technique as you're going through the exercises and the tasks that are suggested for that week. And as well as the morning pages, I almost forgot. You're not supposed to look at your morning pages after you write them. It's just a free consciousness thing. It's just write what you're feeling that morning. As soon as you get up, have your cup of coffee and just write. And just, it could be anything from like, oh, I hate this thing. This is terrible. I hate writing. This is I write pages. I'm tired. I got this to do. It could just be complete free consciousness. But you can ask questions in there. Say, please, like you're asking your higher power or whatever your spiritual guide is. You could use that term and you feel comfortable with, but say that, what do you want me to learn here? And as you're writing, and just keep writing and writing free consciously, it'll start to come, the answers will start to come. And then at the end, after all of that, you're going to identify what those like negative bursts come out, those little phrases that kind of like, ooh, what's that? Those are the ones that are like, that's what's trying to stop you from doing. Maybe that's what you need to try to do that week or work on that week. But then, but don't look back at it. Write your positive affirmation at the end, and then put it away. Either put it in an envelope, but do not look at it again. Don't refer to it again. Just leave it alone. It's just supposed to be an opportunity for you to kind of get your mind, those thoughts down on paper, and it just helps work through those emotions. And then don't look at them again. So every day, 3 pages in the morning. That's the idea behind those pages, but you're not supposed to refer to them or look back at them or use them for anything else. It's just supposed to help you throw those ideas down. It could be anything you feel. It could be negative, and then maybe at first it's going to be negative, all negative thoughts. This is terrible. This sucks. I don't like this. All those things might be what pops into your head, and that's normal. So just keep doing it, and then more you do it, then eventually you'll start to make sense, and then those things you'll start to work through all of those different feelings that may be popping up in the morning pages. So I almost forgot to say that. All right, guys, it's looking like we're doing pretty good here. Does anyone want to share what they have so far? Oh, yes.
I was gonna say I think we should share our creations for what we have.
I like that. I like that.
Okay. So I started off with this on my journal.
Oh, I like that.
I use Mod and tissue. But then all of a sudden I have this paper here. I don't know what I'm doing, but then I started using this and I made this.
Ooh. Oh, that's pretty.
Duct tape on the corners because I used to love duct tape.
Oh, yes, I remember
And then
that.
oh, it has create.
Ooh, I like that a lot.
I love purple, so that's what I did. Add some sparkles. Get a good look in there. You guys can take a picture and send it everywhere.
I like it a lot. I'm gonna have to say, oh, here we go.
People will get extra likes after they see that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And remember, either post it to the website, or do a social media post and tag Me Florecita website, so that it can kind of get the word out for our activities. Thank you very much. How about Joe and Ashley? How are you guys doing?
This is our work in progress so far.
Ooh, oh, I like that. That's really interesting. I love the fallout. Oh, that's really fun. And I like the choice of the letter, the word in there, like the phrases in the back, and the scene. Oh, that's really neat.
Thank you.
And I know you're still working, but I do appreciate that very much. So when you guys finish, let me know what the end result is. I'm kind of curious to see, especially as you get to the doodling part.
Oh, yeah, you don't have a choice. You'll see it.
Fantastic. I love that. Does anyone else want to share, or do you, if you feel comfortable? That's fine.
Yeah.
No worries. I want to make sure that everybody feels comfortable and they can share what they feel comfortable sharing. So, but remember, this is a safe place. So there's no judgment to whatever you have. So we're supposed to be able to really support each other and also not judge ourselves. So that's the idea, that we're not judging ourselves too harshly. We're just supposed to be able to enjoy and let that flow. So just remember that we don't judge ourselves too harshly either. So. Well, I want to be able to thank everybody for coming. Is there any other things you want to be able to talk about or share, or as we're coming to a conclusion?
I just wanted to say thank you for a great first artist date. I feel creative. I feel freed. I feel happy.
Yeah.
I feel stress free.
I like it.
It's fun, and I'm very excited to see where this goes. And I really love the Me Florecita shop. I was looking and see a lot of nice, beautiful items. Just want to say very talented, and hopefully one day I'll be like you.
Well, I believe that you already are. Everybody is. They all have our talents. And maybe one day you'll be able to show your artwork and be able to even sell it on the website.
We thought it was great.
It was real fun.
Good. I like that. That's exactly what I'm hoping for. I want it to be an opportunity to relax, to enjoy, and to just feel refreshed and to express ourselves. So I'm glad that you're enjoying it and had a good time. Thank you for coming.
A hand is raised. Dan is raised a hand.
Oh, is there the hand? I don't see that.
Yeah, I wanted to say really appreciated the words and the philosophy that you are sharing with us during this period of time. I really enjoyed the encouragement and the insight. It was very nice. So I just really appreciated that. And I look forward to next time. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Michael, do you have anything to add, or are you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay.
You did a phenomenal job, sis. I look forward to the next one. I think it's very well said. You're educational and inspiring, and I can't wait to get started. So more to follow for sure.
Oh, fantastic. I'm so glad you're able to join. It really means a lot to me. So, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I know you have another meeting to go to.
I got 15 minutes. I'm good.
Oh, good. I'm so glad, because I was worried. I thought, oh no, he's trying to figure out how to get to like 3 places at the same time. So I'm glad you're able to join us. Thank you. All right. Well, I just want to be able to finish up a little bit here on our journal. And again, next week we're going to be talking about the chapter 2, recovering the sense of identity, is the next chapter. And what I'm going to be working on is I'll be posting a blog. I'll be talking about the concepts that we talked about today. I'll be talking about like just generally a little bit about our inner critic, and working on that a little bit more. And then also be posting the next assignment, which is in my mind right now is going to be the masks and about how we can do that. So, but be thinking about doing a self-portrait, thinking about doing how you see yourself now. And it doesn't have to be like a picturesque self-portrait. Think about a self-portrait, like what those images that you think you present to the world. And then masks of like what we think other people will see of us. And then also like what we maybe project out to protect ourselves in different environments. So think about the different kinds of ways in which we interact with the world. And that's what we'll be working on next week. Does it sound good?
Thank you. I'll see you next week.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Oh. What was it? Wait.
I think we should all take a screenshot of all of us.
Okay.
You don't got to screenshot it. You could just take a picture from the recording. Because everybody should hold it up.
Everyone.
Oh yeah, everyone hold it up. Okay, yes. Oh, I like it. Thank you, guys. Everything's looking so good. Yeah, I love your creativity. Can I see Joseph's too?
You did? I don't know.
This is ours.
This is
All right,
ours.
see you next week.
Look.
Witness it.
All right. Thank you, guys. You have a good week. Talk to you soon. Bye.